everybody, welcome back to the vlog. Thank you so much for once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of misty morning and focus combination. It's got that little bit of zing and that little bit of bergamot in there and that little bit of goodness. Great for early morning. So today's pretty early. I got to the studio, it's about 7 o'clock in the morning, but wanted to get right into it today. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's projects that I'm working on. There's a lot of things. And I saw something in the news and I want to talk to you a little bit about it. So today is going to be a little bit of camera, a little bit about a tech. A little bit about a camera, a little bit about a tech. So the camera stuff is all about Sony, all right? And the tech is pretty much about Sony and Microsoft. We're going to talk a little bit about where Sony is going when it comes to their camera division and where they're going with their company as a whole. And also look at the PS5 that's going to be coming out, as well as the Xbox X Series. How do they compare? So let's get right into it. But before I do, I want to say that if you haven't picked up my ebook, please go and do so. It's free. 10 tips at making sharper images, something great for amateurs as well as professionals. You can find it over on my website, JCristina.com/ebook. Once again, JCristina.com/ebook. Go pick it up. Once again, it's free. Anyways, let's kind of get right into it. And I want to talk right away about Sony and their splitting off of their camera division. Now, they did this as of, I believe it was April 2020. So they made a separate division for Sony cameras, right? Their camera division. Now, there was a lot of insiders talking about this in April and saying how wonderful it was. And their rationale behind it was that Sony's camera department is really weighing down the rest of them. All right, sales have just been slowly tanking over the years. We've talked about this in the past, where we're seeing a halving and then another half and then a halving and a halving. I think it's about every 2 years, if memory serves, okay? Where the market just continuously in this downtrend, all right? It's gonna eventually at zero, it feels like, all right? So seeing that, these insiders that kind of know what's going on and seeing that Sony did or was going to break apart the company, let's say, create that separate division, they were extremely happy about it. And a lot of them purchased a lot of Sony stock as soon as they did that. Now, that is a smart move. Many other companies have done that in the past, and it does prove to be effective, but how does that forebode? Is it positive or negative for Sony cameras in general? And we're going to kind of get into that a little bit. Now, what was also interesting is when I was reading through this and taking a look at what the insiders were saying as they were buying more shares of Sony stock, they said that they heard internally that at any given time, Sony was going to cut funding to their camera division and put that money, that R&D money that they were putting into cameras, into other things. Maybe console, maybe movies, maybe TV, whatever it is. But they were going to put that money elsewhere if the camera division continued to slump. Now, once again, this is not really rumor, this is fact, but from insiders that they've heard this from inside of Sony. Now, take it all with a grain of salt, but it is what it is. Now, as far as the numbers go, Sony sales was right around, I think it was $5.4 billion as of March, let's say. And that was anywhere from 36 to 40, getting close to 50% reduction year over year. So in 2019, we're looking at, let's say, 10 billion, and now we're at 5. Let's just average it out. A big reduction in sales, and the majority of it is coming from, obviously, the pandemic and camera sales being abysmal, as well as other things. So one of the major cash cows, let's call it, for Sony is their sensor sales. Sensor sales for Sony is massive, absolutely massive. They make a ton of money. We've talked about this in the past, but I don't think we've went over numbers. Sony sells by far the majority of sensors in the global market each year. They're up to 50% of the global market, 52%. That is over half of the market of sensors worldwide are Sony sensors. That comes to like about $15 billion every year. It's a lot of money, guys, a lot of money. So camera sales is like this, whereas sensor sales is like this. A major discrepancy between the two. Now, one of the other things that kind of held Sony up this year was their release of Spider-Man, their brand new Spider-Man Far From Home. That did really well on the movie side of things. But remember, even though Spider-Man did fantastic, and coming soon, their console, their PS5, is going to do unbelievably well, all right? I still believe that their new division that they broke off in April 1st, their camera division is going to continue to slump, right? Continue to slump. What is Sony going to do? So let me get into the Xbox X Series and the PS5. All right, I wanted to give you some specs. You know, I'm a tech head. I just absolutely love tech. And this vlog has always been about cameras and tech in general. So I want to get into a little bit when it comes to consoles, because a lot of you guys that are like me that absolutely love photography, you also love tech, and you probably have a PS4 or an Xbox sitting next to you right now, right? A lot of you do. If not, maybe your kids do. Now, this spec sheet comes right from tomsguide.com. They did a really good job at putting all of this data together. So let's start from the top. The price, obviously, it's TBD, to be disclosed, or TBA, to be announced. That is for both the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. Now, the release date is going to be holiday 2020. That is going to be for both of them. Now, Xbox did say that they might be coming out a little bit before, maybe right around Thanksgiving or even earlier, whereas the PS5, according to Sony, is definitely right around Christmas time. Now, we don't have this in stone as of yet, but just take it for what it's worth. Now, the key exclusives. Now, these are the titles that really make the platform shine. Number one, on the PlayStation 5 side, you have Spider-Man Miles Morales, you have Horizon 2, Forbidden West, as well as Gran Turismo 7. Whereas if you head over to Xbox, you see Hellblade 2 as well as Halo Infinity. Now, we know that Xbox's major seller is Halo. That is just a massive, massive cash cow for Microsoft. Now, going on, backwards compatibility. Now, here they differ a little bit. We have almost all PS4 games, including optimized PS4 Pro titles, on the PlayStation 5, whereas on the Xbox Series X, we see all Xbox One games, select Xbox 360, and original Xbox games. So that's really good. That's kind of like one up for the Xbox X Series. It's a little bit better. Now, when it comes to CPU, you can see that they're almost identical. They're both 8-core Zen 2 AMD processors. The PS5 is running slightly slower at 3.5 in comparison to 3.8 gigahertz on the Microsoft X Series. Now, the GPU, which is extremely important for these consoles, you can see here that they both are running the AMD RDNA 2, but you can see the difference in speed. We're looking at 10.3 teraflops in comparison to 12.0 teraflops on the Microsoft machine. So you're getting a little bit more, let's say, processing power, GPU power on the Xbox system. Now, in regards to RAM, they both are using 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 RAM, which is great. Now, in storage, we can see that the Xbox has 1 terabyte SSD in it, whereas the PlayStation 5 has 828 gigabytes. Slightly smaller, both SSD, both extremely fast drives. Now, resolution, both will do 8K. That is massive. That means as we move into the new year, we're going to see a lot more 8K TVs. Why? Because there's a lot of people that play console games, and right now the console games are only going up to 4K. As we can see now, they're moving into 8K. 8K TVs are going to start selling in 2021. Now, moving on to frame rate. They both do 120 frames per second and they both will have an optical disc drive, which is a 4K ultra high def Blu-ray in it. Now, that's really cool. The one thing that I see that differs is that while we have that Blu-ray in or available in both units, the PS5 has a version that is only digital. So I'm going to guess there'll probably be a digital and a non-digital version of that machine. One will probably be like $100 more expensive. So let's say one is $500 and one will be $400. To me, I would get it non-digital. You might as well have that Blu-ray capability in it, and that helps you with backwards compatibility so you can stick in any of your old DVDs that you have for your past machines. Now, when you look at these boxes, well, the Xbox kind of looks like a tower, right? A PC tower, whereas when you look at a PS5, it looks more like an Alienware PC or something with all of the curves and cuts to it. Really kind of cool. I personally like the way that PS5 looks in comparison to the Xbox X series. Now, the question here is, and a lot of you have, is which is a better gaming machine? Which is going to be more powerful? Which will run the games better? And which, even more importantly, will have a larger library of these high-end titles? Let's say 8K titles that come out. That we don't know, obviously. Now, we know that power isn't everything, and we see that a lot with Xbox One to PS4. A lot of people just absolutely love the PS4 because they really like the titles. So I think the most important thing are the titles. The titles are really going to sell the system. Are a lot of people going to buy the Xbox X series because of Halo? Or are a lot of people going to go with the PS5 because they have a lot more high-end, let's say, titles that a lot of people like? Where are they going to go with it? So, like I said, if we look at power, I would say that on paper, the Xbox X series will be more powerful, but when it comes to games, that's still yet to be seen. We'll see what ends up happening. We really don't know as of right now. The one thing that I do like about the Xbox is it has a little bit more backwards compatibility. They're both going to be backwards compatible, but I think the Xbox will be slightly better or more backwards compatible. We'll see. So that's really it. I want to ask you a couple of questions like I always do. All right, number one, now that we see that as of April 1st, Sony has kind of broken apart their camera division and stuck it into its own corporation, let's say, not to, let's say, hurt or pull down the rest of their company. Smart move. But by so doing, does this, in your mind, make it easier for Sony to basically nix their camera division if it just stops holding water or continues to not hold water? As we see cameras in a whole, it doesn't matter if it's Canon or Nikon or whoever, are slumping literally in half every 2 years. Sales are being halved every 2 years. And this has continued over the past 6, 7, 8 years. So what do you think? Do you think it's a possibility that Sony says, cameras aren't doing well? Or do you think that that's absolutely not possible? Also, going into the holiday season, seeing that we have the PS5 and we have the Xbox X series, are you going to pick one of these up? Are you going to be picking up a new console? Remember, it has been 7 years, guys, since a new console has come out, either Sony or Microsoft. 7 years. Are you going to be one of them that buy a new console? And if so, which console looks to be more of something that you would be interested in? The PS5 or the Xbox X series? Which one? Which one, guys? I'm not going to tell you my answer. Maybe I'll put it in the comment area down here, but I want to hear from you guys first. Anyways, as always, I hope you enjoy this content. It was a lot of fun to make. If you got a little bit out of it, or a little bit of enjoyment, a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of anything, throw it a big thumbs up. That would be really helpful to the channel. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you can get all my content when it becomes available, and click the bell icon somewhere right around here so when it is available, you will be notified of it. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools that I've made for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me. That would be awesome. So that's it, guys. I'm out of here for yet another vlog. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe and stay healthy.